Good evening. It is Tuesday, November 24th. I'm Dr. Tanya Lowe, your Chief Riot Starter, ready to start a riot this evening with Oliver Dorsey, the nonprofit guru. Welcome, Oliver. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great this evening. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well. This Tuesday before Thanksgiving, it's hard to believe that it's Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Where did the time go? So I want to tell everybody a little bit about Oliver. Oliver Dorsey is president of Dorsey Nonprofit Solutions and vice president of operations for Dorsey Consulting and Training. He's a graduate of Albany State University in Albany, Georgia, my hometown. And he has a Master of Arts degree in Organizational Management from the University of Phoenix, Arizona. Oliver has worked in the field of nonprofit for over 20 years, and I consider him a nonprofit guru. We met through the Atlanta Chamber, and Oliver, you want to fill in the gaps with some additional information for our listeners tonight?
Yes, I spent 17 years with the Boys and Girls Club movement. I started out in the Atlanta metropolitan organization, went over to worked in Greater Houston for a couple of years, and came back over to work with Boys and Girls Clubs of Northwest Georgia in Dalton, and then finished my career over at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Toccoa, Stevens County, where I was an executive. Majority of my experience with nonprofits come from working with Boys and Girls Clubs. And now, just as Dr. Lowe alluded to, I'm working with a number of nonprofits throughout the state of Georgia and throughout the upstate of South Carolina. So glad to be on the call and more than glad to share information as it relates to social enterprise.
Amazing. That's going to be great. So I want to ask everyone if they will mute their lines by pressing their mute buttons so that we don't get any background noise. And Oliver will be presenting what you need to know about social enterprise at our 4th annual Riot Starter Symposium, February 5th, 2016, at the Commerce Club in Atlanta, Georgia. And so he wants to give you just a little taste of what he will be presenting in full in February. We hope that you'll join us in February at the 4th Annual Riot Starter Symposium. All you have to do is go to theriot.starter.com and click the link for registration and find out about Oliver as well as all of our amazing speakers. So, Oliver, what do our listeners need to know about social enterprise? Why are we talking about social enterprise? I've done some research, and I've heard you speak about social enterprise before, but why do our listeners, why is it important for entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs to start understanding about social enterprise?
Okay, first I'll just start what social enterprise is. Social enterprise is not a new concept. It's something that's been around for centuries, believe it or not. Mainly put, it is businesses that trade to tackle social problems within our communities, to help improve the lives of individuals in our communities and also the environment. They make their money. Social enterprises make their money from selling goods, services in the open market, but they reinvest their profits back into the business. They can go back to shareholders, go back into the business or the local community to tackle an issue within the community. For an example, you have a lot of veterans that come back. Thousands of veterans come back home every year, and as they are coming back into civilian life, a lot of them just do not have employment, and a lot of them are going through mental health issues and things of that nature. And our VA is tackling a lot of those situations. However, when it comes to the job piece, that's an issue that's just not there. So there are organizations out here in the marketplace that provides opportunities for veterans. There are a number of veteran organizations right in the Atlanta metropolitan area that have a nonprofit. It's a nonprofit, but then they have a for-profit arm. And what they do is allow their veterans to work within the nonprofit, generate funds to help support the nonprofit. But in all of that, it becomes a job for that veteran in order for them to get back into the job market here in the civilian life, start working again, and getting back familiar with how we do things on this side of the house. So that's just an example of what social enterprise is all about. Taking it a step further, what I like to talk about is really for-profit businesses, for example. A social enterprise, you can be able to, in a for-profit business, you can have what you do in your for-profit, but have a community focus within your for-profit. You understand what I'm saying? You can say, okay, well, we provide services for mental health individuals who are challenged in some areas. However, we have a community piece where we work with young people who are somewhat challenged, and we assist those individuals, our employees assist those young people when they have time to volunteer and assist in that particular area. So it's about, from the for-profit side, but then also being a social enterprise, you can also be a nonprofit and do the same type of services and have the same type of impact within the community. So on both sides of the house, you can really make an impact through social enterprise. But what I like to do is merge them both together. Have your for-profit and your nonprofit to leverage each other in order to make a difference in the community.
Wow, Oliver, that sounds like it sounds really interesting. Now, I heard you talk about nonprofits, and I heard you speak about veterans. So when we talk about social enterprise, we're not just limited to those two categories. What I want folks to take away is that are we talking about all social issues when we start talking about social enterprise? If you have a passion for children, or if you have a passion for literacy, is that available as a social enterprise entity? And can you talk about that a little bit?
It's across the board. It's across the board. You have some social enterprises that work with charter schools, for example, and have providing healthy meals for children in charter schools. And what they do is they plant their own food, and once the food is developed and ready to prepare, they partner with charter schools and prepare healthy meals for the kids. And what that does is give opportunity for individuals in the community to be a part of that. For example, you have individuals who don't have jobs. So when we look at it from a standpoint of the investment side of the house, you say, because these programs have to be funded. They don't have to be, but you want them to be funded so that you can be able to scale up what you do and be able to make a stronger impact. So, a funder, an investor, an angel investor, or a capital, a venture capitalist, or a major foundation may want to put in some dollars for that feeding program to be able to so the children can have healthy meals. Therefore, you need employees to prepare those meals. So what that does is fills in the gap of providing jobs for individuals who do not have employment for them to work. But also, you on the other side of the house, you are meeting the goals of taking care of children and having them to have nutritious meals on that end of the spectrum. So, it's wide open. It's wide open. You're not limited as to what you can do from a social aspect. So it's wide open as to what you want to do, as long as it makes good business sense and that you can have sustainable outcomes in the end.
Wow. So, Oliver, my next question for you is about how would entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs go about creating opportunities? Just a little bit about, how could they create opportunities, and why should they think about creating opportunities?
Well, let's go with entrepreneurs. I mean, we're talking about individuals who work in, mostly corporate America, major corporations. They have the support of those companies for them to become creative And when we talk about support, we're talking about the financial support and everything that comes with that. Those individuals will have the capacity to make a huge impact. So, you look at someone who works for Coke or UPS or what have you, those entrepreneurs, they come up with a program to support homeless teenagers, for example. That's a huge need. That's a huge gap. We have a lot of teenagers who are homeless right here in metropolitan Atlanta. And they develop a program that targets those young people and providing them shelter, also education because they're not in school, and also providing meals. So you have 3 areas right there that you are filling in the gap in terms of assisting these young people and taking them to the next step in life. So a lot of times these major corporations will hire those entrepreneurs in there to develop a program so that they can be able to fill in the gap. And a lot of it goes back to what those corporations, what their mission and what they are wanting to do within the community. You see what I'm saying? But from an entrepreneurial standpoint, it's wide open. The same way, it's a little more challenging in terms of securing the dollars initially, unless you have a lot of money already or you have partners that have the capital to make it happen. That's when you have to seek fundraising efforts as it relates to having investors to come into the picture. What's a little different about social enterprise is, as opposed to it just being, especially on the for-profit side of the house, if you have your social enterprise and you're working it from a for-profit business, you really have to have a solid business plan in place because you want to be able to attract the investors, venture capitalists, angel investors, to be able to invest in what you say you're going to do, and also have, and not only that business plan, but even having a pilot program that you've already done, so that you're already showing the impact and how their investment will make a greater impact, with their dollars. So it's a little more work on that side of the house when you're talking about just an entrepreneurship standpoint. But okay, let's take it to the nonprofit side. That's why I like really merging both for-profit and nonprofit, because the nonprofit side, you can't go after those grants from top to bottom, whether you're federal government, state, local municipalities, foundations, etc. That opens you up a lot more, and so that you can be able to make that impact. Now, even with the nonprofit, you even eligible to even do the fundraising part of it, as opposed to the for-profit side. It's a little more, you have a little more restrictions, so. That's why I use the 2-prong approach,
Wow.
For-profit and nonprofit.
And I'm sure you will get into the full details of that at the symposium.
Absolutely.
So I want to take you to the next question. So you've talked about, with creating opportunities, there's relationships. You're going to have to build relationships. You've got to have a social interest, something in the community that you really have an interest in. For myself, I know that I do a lot of work with North Atlanta High School, and so we're working on a pilot. I heard you say pilot. So we're piloting a youth leadership development program. And so why is this beneficial? Why is social enterprise beneficial? Are there tax breaks for entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs? Of course, entrepreneurs are within a company, but for entrepreneurs, would they receive certain tax breaks? Why should they consider this?
Well, if you are, for example, it could be a good tax break for you. For example, if you have a for-profit and a nonprofit, your for-profit can help fund that nonprofit up to about 10 to 12%. It may have changed, but up to about 10 to 12%.
Oh, will you repeat that, Oliver?
I'll get more than that at the symposium. But your for-profit, the profits from your for-profit going into your nonprofit, your for-profit can financially support your nonprofit up to about maybe 10 to 12%.
Okay.
And it may have changed, but I know the last couple of years have been about 10, 12%, no more than that from a for-profit revenue going into your nonprofit. So that's an advantage there. That's a great advantage there. There's also opportunities to really showcase what you do and how you really get things done within your organization. It's really just understanding the overall benefits of having a for-profit and a nonprofit. And I will get real more into that when we have our symposium.
Okay. And so the final question is, how would entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs maximize their opportunities? I know you've talked a lot about what social enterprise is, and we've talked about how to create opportunities. And so now, how will we maximize those opportunities? What do we want our listeners on the call tonight to take away? If you had to give them, if they left the call and they didn't make the symposium, what would you want them to walk away from this call with?
Initially, this can sound overwhelming. Some people may say, "Well, I'm already over my head with my own business, getting things going, have things going. We have a lot already on the table here." But I like to prepare businesses for any situation that arises. We're in a political season now. You want to be prepared to be successful, whether you have a for-profit or a nonprofit. And you want to position your business to be successful. That's just the bottom line, because, a lot of times they say, well, when the Republicans are in office, for-profits thrive. When the Democrats in office, nonprofits thrive. So why not have a little bit of all of it? Why struggle? So it's not overwhelming. A lot of times it's about interest when you're deciding what type of community, a social mission that you want to provide within your community. It's about the passion, because when passion comes, everything else go out the window. And being prepared and making it happen. And that's what, we're going to really get more in depth in how you make that happen, and for you not to become overwhelmed during the entire process.
Wow, you heard it from the nonprofit guru himself, Oliver Dorsey, talking about social enterprise and how to really start thinking out of the box. Oliver and everybody, this symposium in 2016 is, we're talking about out-of-the-box topics. And, one of our speakers, our speaker who's coming up, I think, next week or the week after, Priscilla Nunn, is going to be talking about innovation and creativity. And for a nonprofit, for an entrepreneur, and for some companies to even take on social enterprise as an objective, that's innovation. That's creativity. And looking at how to really improve the lives of communities and offer your goods and services to that community. I had an opportunity to attend a conference in Tampa and actually saw social enterprise in action and saw them raise about $25,000-$30,000 right there just from the conference participants. So I'm a believer. I believe that it can happen when you really take on, when there's a passion in something that you believe in the community that's aside from what your business is and how you can merge the two together.
Okay.
So, Oliver, any final words? What would you like to? What is going to be your offer? I know that on last week she offered for those people who signed up for the symposium, she provided an offer for them. So what is your offer? What are you going to offer folks who decide, I want to dig a little bit deeper. I want to come and meet Chi-Chi and Oliver at the symposium. And what kind of surprise gift do you have for them, for those people who sign up tonight?
When you sign up, I give them a free hour consultation on, social enterprise, nonprofits, development, and how to leverage that to benefit, your business and how to make that really happen without you becoming overwhelmed with everything that comes along with that.
So you heard it from Oliver Dorsey himself, the nonprofit guru. If you sign up for this symposium this evening, then you'll receive a consultation on how before you even receive the basics on how to integrate this information into your business and start 2016 on a creative and innovative note. I love that, Oliver. Thank you so much. Our listeners, we have several people on the line tonight, and I hope that they take advantage of that offer. So it's the season of giving. It is the season of sharing. And so before we go, I want to share with you one more time that you can sign up for the Riot Starter Symposium by visiting theriotStarter.com. Take advantage of Oliver's special offer for you tonight. And because I'm feeling so generous, if you were on the call on last week and you heard Chi-Chi's call, and Chi-Chi's probably going to kill me, but I'm going to sweeten the deal and say if you sign up tonight that you'll also receive, I'll go ahead and give you Chi-Chi's offer as well. So again, if you visit theriotStarter.com and you grab your ticket for the symposium, your early bird ticket at that, which is already at a reduced rate, you will truly walk away with two amazing bonuses to start 2016. So Oliver, any final words for our listeners tonight?
Well, I definitely want to encourage you all to sign up for the symposium. There's a lot of great speakers there. A lot of great speakers that'll be there. A lot of great opportunity to network with some highly professional individuals, individuals who are about real business and getting things done. And just want to really encourage you to sign up.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Oliver, for taking a few moments out of your busy schedule to talk with us tonight. We will see you in February at the Riot Starter Symposium. Thanks, everybody, for jumping on the line. Have a great evening and a happy Thanksgiving.